What settings did you use? I think that this is one of the questions that we receive in our DMs or in the YouTube comments or anywhere else. But here's the truth, it's the wrong question to ask. A big misconception that beginners have is that if you know the setting of a stead photographer, you will be able to replicate completely their results. So if you know that they have taken a particular picture at f8 or f2, you think that, okay, if I use f8 or f2 for my aperture, my picture will turn out the same. But that's a big misconception, because pictures are first dependent on intent, meaning what the photographer wanted to capture and how they wanted to capture it, but also dependent on context. What was the condition of the light, the environment around that photographer, and what was the different element in the composition that this particular photographer wanted to enhance or emphasize, and all of these elements influence the setting that they use. So just asking for settings doesn't help at all. You need to understand why you would want to use a particular stead setting and how the context around you will influence those. So for you to understand what is the why behind the choices of the setting that we use, well, you need to first start at the basics, which is the exposure triangle. In the exposure triangle, you have, of course, the aperture, which is basically the opening of your lens that is marked in f-stops. And based on the lens that you have, it can go from typically f1.2, f1.4 till f22. Now, the apertures impacts the amount of light that is reaching your sensor through the lens, as well as the depth of field of your image. If you want a shallow depth of field, your f number will be smaller. And if you want more in focus, meaning a deeper depth of field, then you will choose a higher f number. Next, we have the shutter speed. Now, the shutter speed basically influences the amount of time on which you will capture light on your sensor. Now, the longer you will capture that amount of light, the more light will reach your sensor. The shorter that period at which you capture the amount of light, the less light will reach your sensor. Now, this also affects the movement in your images, meaning that the longer you capture a movement, the blurrier it will appear. And the shorter you capture it, the sharper it will appear. So if you want to freeze movement in your picture, then you will have to go at a very quick shutter speed, meaning 1/8000, 4000, 2000. Now, on the opposite, if you really want to have some blur in your picture, whether it is due to movement from humans or water or anything else that moves in your picture, then you might want to consider to have slower shutter speed, let's say 1/30th, 1/10th, 1/15th, etc. And finally, we have the ISO, which is basically the gain that is applied to the data received through the sensor. Now, basically, the higher the ISO, the higher the gain, meaning the brighter your picture will appear, but it also introduces grain in your picture, so you want to be mindful of that. Now that you understand the basic settings, meaning shutter speed, ISO, and aperture, and how they impact how things behave in your picture, well, it is all about intent. What do you want to do? And how do you want to portray your subject within your frame? And I know that at first this might be confusing and complicated to understand, but this is what photography is about, maybe 80 or 90% of it. Intent on how you want to capture an image and what are the settings that you might want to use based on that intent. And now you understand half of the reason why it makes no sense to ask someone on the internet what settings do you use for that, because it completely depends on how they wanted to capture the scene, and also it might not be the way how you would like to capture it. But that is only half of the picture, because context is also an important part in photography. If you have a really harshly lit environment and you want to keep as much as information in your shadows and your highlights as possible, well, the way you will use your settings and the way you might want to expose your picture, meaning having darker shadow and having more information in your highlights, or the opposite, this will also impact your pictures, right? This will impact basically your overall exposure and the way you will expose your picture to keep the information that you need. If you have a subject in a scene that is right in front of a super bright window, and you want to capture this subject as a silhouette, well, your setting will be completely different compared to someone else who would like to capture this particular subject without that subject being a silhouette, right? You will need to analyze the light and the amount of light that is inside your scene and expose properly for the brighter area of your scene. Whereas someone who actually wants to capture that particular subject and does not want it to appear as a silhouette might want to actually expose for that particular subject and maybe light up the subject so that they actually are able to keep details in the highlights while being able to capture the details of that subject. And now you might be like, okay, this is so complicated. And yes, it is complicated. And this is the reason why you have to consider intent and context. Intent is what you want to capture, why you want to capture it the way you want to do it, and the context is the current light, the current atmosphere, and the current other elements in your scene. So just asking someone what setting they use, again, now you understand a bit better why it makes little sense to do so, because you don't have the information on the context and the intent behind the picture that they took. So what should you do to be able to actually either recreate some pictures if you would like to, or maybe just improve your skill as a photographer? Well, first, you need to understand the basics. The exposure triangle that I talked about earlier in this video should be easy for you. This is the basics of photography, and if you don't understand the basics, you won't be able to move forward. Once you understand the basics, then it's time to move to the other part of photography, which is the most important and the most interesting, I believe, which is all about the how and the context, right? You need to understand light, where the light comes from in your scene, how can you use that light to actually make your subject look in a specific way, and how you can add light or remove light in your scene, whether it is by your settings or by outside elements like strobes, like reflectors, or any other elements with which you can add some light in your scenes. And this is why it is the most complicated part of photography, because number one, it takes a lot of time, practicing and experimenting and failing and learning from your mistakes and again reiterating. But number two, it takes a lot of determination and patience, right? And more than doing the thing itself, I think that is the thought process of what do I want to achieve? How can I achieve that? Where should I position my camera? What can be my settings for me to achieve the thing that I want to achieve, right? If you're able to go through that thought process, then you'll be able to eventually get better and create pictures that are worth looking at and that you will be proud of. So as a conclusion, I would say that stop asking people on the internet what settings they use, because this will not help you improve. Even if you have the same setting as I have, even if you go at the same exact spot where I was at the exact same time, the lighting might be different, the conditions might be different, and because of that, you will not be able to create the pictures that you wanted to create. Instead, focus on understanding the basics and understanding how to use the settings to create the image that you want, and how to use those settings based on the context that you are operating under, right? For you to be able to create what you want and what you need to create. All right, thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And if you want to know more about exposure, about settings on your Fujifilm camera, then make sure to watch this video right here. I'll see you there.